Hey everybody, welcome back to the channel. My name's Ryan. This is my wife Stephanie joining me today because she's going to help protect the integrity of the blind. Just so you guys know, there's no cheating, no funny business. You can see it all happen in real time, and she can attest because she would never let me be dishonest.
We had a confidential folder. I had things blacked out.
Yeah.
Top secret.
So what we're doing today is I put a bottle down and I threw down a gauntlet. I said, hey, in my Discord community for my patrons, I said, I don't think any of you guys have a rye on your shelves that could be my rye in a blind. And the rye that I selected was the Old Overholt 10-year Cask Strength. Let me grab it. So this is what my community is trying to beat. Now, this has won 4 different blinds for me. It came in second place in another one. So this has a history of being incredibly good. It performs very well for me. So, we had a lot of people say, okay, I'll take you up on that. So we have Grendel, Welsh, we've got Handy Randy, we've got Finnis, we've got Briar X, Looter, Craig. So yeah, we got a lot of people that sent in stuff. We have a total of 8 samples that were sent in, and they labeled them with their names, not with what's inside. So I don't know. So even the bottles that came, I have no idea what's in them.
Nope.
So she knows, and Matt knows, but I don't know. So she went ahead and poured them.
Yep.
So the way we're going to do this is we've got 4 different pairings. So 8 glasses, 4 pairings. So think of it as 4 brackets. We're going to go down each pair, and we're going to select our favorite of the 2. Well, I'll select my favorite of the 2.
Your favorite.
Yeah. And then that one will move on, and the other one will not. I always feel bad about this part because you know that I hate eliminating somebody's glass that they're really proud about and really are really happy to have it be in the tournament. I always feel bad about that. But all of these are going to get eliminated, save for one, at the end of the day.
And maybe yours.
Maybe mine. We'll see.
Yours.
That's going to be the interesting part. Is obviously part 2. So 4 of them will move on from today and go head to head with my bottle in the second blind. So she's going to go ahead and bring up the first 2 glasses, and we'll get started. You can leave the coasters if it's easier for you.
No, it's fine. So these are only labeled by a letter, and I have a key that tells me whose is whose. So he doesn't even know who these ones were submitted by. So this is A and B.
Glasses A and B. A versus B here.
Okay.
Now, when I'm editing this, I will have recorded both videos. So at that point, I will know what these have been. So I'll make sure to edit the video so that somewhere above our heads, it'll probably say glass A and glass B. So you know what I'm tasting in real time.
I will say, I'm going to say something when you do B.
Okay.
And I won't give anything away.
This one, glass A, is very traditional rye on the nose. Like I get hit with a wave of that mintiness and fresh cut grass.
See, I don't get that, but I don't have a refined smell for things. I do notice if things like I don't drink whiskey, but I do like certain smells of them. Like now that I'm opening them and pouring them for him. So
and you don't mind whiskey in something like as a mixing component.
Right.
So try the nose of that and tell me if you get sort of like underneath sort of the mintiness and the ethanol, do you get sort of like these yellow fruits?
Okay.
Almost like an apricot or something like that?
Yes.
Or even like a soft apple?
It just, I don't know if I get, well.
Putting her on the spot here.
I know. It smells sweet. I get a sweetness.
A little bit of honey in here too.
Yeah, I don't know.
Oh, I should note, I asked her not to tell me where they end up, but if somebody did submit 2 entries, just for fairness sake, I asked her to make sure that both of them were in the same bracket together. So nobody would end up with both of theirs going to the final round. You know what I mean? Because that would just be maybe a little bit unfair. Whoa, this one.
Okay. This is the one, out of all of them, I will say, when I opened that one and I smelled it, I was like, oh, this smells good. Like
maple and walnut candies.
Maybe.
Maple and walnut candies.
Yes, this one is so incredibly sweet on the nose.
Brown sugar.
And that was the one, I think you heard me because you were working over here while I was pouring, and I go, oh, that's interesting.
Okay.
I loved the smell of that one.
A little bit of like campfire vibes too. All right, well, I've nosed them both. Let me go ahead and try them. We'll start with A. I mean, there's literally nothing wrong with that. That's like traditional rye, but done very well.
What makes it done well? Like what?
So you're executing on some of the like hallmark tasting notes of a good rye.
Okay.
You get that mintiness. You get those mature yellow fruits, which rye can be kind of bitey. kind of have a little bit of attitude to it.
All whiskey is bitey to me.
But the longer you age it, the more it sort of mellows out over time. Some of these fruity notes come forward. So that's where I'm getting some of the honey, some of the apple as well.
I can smell that as like sweetness.
As it sits on your palate, it gets sweeter. Okay. So up front, you get that little first they're sour, then they're sweet, kind of like the Sour Patch Kids. Yeah, and this has a good proof to it as well. I don't think this is like a 90 or below. I would assume this is obviously 100 plus.
I have all my notes hidden, and I really want to look them up to see. As you guess, like, I don't know.
I mean, that's delicious. I mean, I can't knock it for anything. But we'll move on to glass B here.
Doesn't that smell so good?
It does smell delicious. I'm going to sort of cleanse a little bit here first.
I'm curious to know how this one tastes.
I love how even within one like subcategory of whiskey, you get such a wide variety of like you can distinguish on the nose. Oh, these two are very different.
Yeah. Are those flavors that we smelled coming through?
It's really grain forward.
Okay.
Do you want to try it?
I don't know. Maybe off camera.
I mean, it's delicious. I really like grain forward profiles.
Yeah, that's interesting that I'm not getting the same what I'm smelling. I don't feel like it's computing to what I'm tasting. But again, I'm an amateur, so.
Yeah.
But it didn't burn. I did it.
I got to be careful not to drink too much.
I took a little tiny sip.
I'll want to go back and forth, obviously, and compare, but I have 8 to get through. So if I end up having half a glass of whiskey on every one of these, it's going to be bad news.
Walking crazy tonight.
I'll be down and out for the day. Man, it's tough because this is really good, but it's also like really offbeat. Mm-hmm. So it doesn't follow your traditional rye notes. It's kind of innovative. It pushes the boundaries of what a rye can be and what a rye can do. Yeah. Those maple notes, I think, are the things that are most prevalent for me, especially in the like mid to late palate, and then a little bit into the finish where I get a lot of the grain and a lot of the oak. And I am a sucker for maple. Love maple candies. Mm-hmm. She like doesn't like your real maple syrups. Like
I like a little, but it's too sweet for me.
I'm a sucker for it. Like straight from the Sugar Shack.
I grew up with a maple farm nearby, and we had maple candies all the time growing up. But it was like a little goes such a long way with maple.
Man, I don't know. Am I going to go offbeat or am I going to go well executed traditional today? That's the hard part. Yeah, I feel bad because obviously somebody submitted that and thought this is the one. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And you're gonna break someone's heart today. You're gonna break 4 hearts.
I'm gonna break 4 hearts today.
Jerk.
I feel so bad about it. I think I'm gonna have to go with well executed traditional today.
Okay, so I'm gonna go with A is our winner.
There's nothing wrong with B. I think it's delicious. I mean, I would never be upset to have that pour, but to go head to head with the Overholt, I think I might be able to like pick B out of the lineup because it's so different, so unique. And that would make it even more difficult. You
wouldn't be able to be unbiased. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I get that.
It would probably depend on my mood. Like, there would probably be days where I'm like, I want something different. Mm-hmm. But then there's other days where I'm like, I think I just want something really traditional, really good. And I think that for today, I'm leaning A.
All right. A is our winner. First winner.
I hope I made the right decision there. Because B is sitting on my palate right now. It's sitting on the back here. Just kind of...
Here's the D.
Exhaling, and I can taste that maple. It's so good. Man, this is going to be tough. Okay, C and D. On to bracket number 2 here. This smells like honey graham crackers. First thing I got was like those honey glazed graham crackers on the nose.
Okay, well, I don't know if I'm influenced by what you're saying, but I pick up just a sweet honey. Yeah.
And a little bit of that sweet and savory graham in there. It almost makes me think of s'mores. Because even like a toasted marshmallow kind of vibe in there.
Yeah, it's got a sweetness to it.
It's going to sound weird, and maybe you're not going to get this, maybe you will. Think of like a Kansas City barbecue. Like pit smoke.
You're asking the wrong person.
A wave of that pit smoke, they open up the top and it comes rolling out. And some brown sugary oak in there. I'm going to try it. It's pretty good. It's a little more subtle than the others. It doesn't bite quite as hard. I don't know if you want to try it. You're welcome to. Doesn't quite have the same, bitiness to it, where it's really forward, really assertive on the front end. It's it has some manners.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's good. Yeah.
But this one has tons of oak on it. I will say that.
Yeah, I could say,
There's a lot of oak.
I didn't know what I was picking up there, but when you say it, that makes sense. Yeah.
I think of like Werther's Originals butterscotch candies as well.
Oh, interesting.
And even like a fuzz of like a bright cherry note on that too.
I gotta be careful. I'm not good at this. Okay. I'm not good at this.
I think cherry and butterscotch is a great combination of whiskey.
I don't know. I'm just pulling that oaky flavor, but again,
there's a lot of oak on it, no doubt.
I'm a rookie at this, so.
as it just sits on my palate, though, just sort of exhaling through my mouth, actually, with my mouth closed. So it sort of comes in through here and then out through your nose. That cherry note's really prevalent for me.
Hmm.
This is D. The other one. Oh, wow. This is way different.
Yeah?
Oh, yeah.
I have to like smell both and see.
This is really fruity. It almost has like a... I wouldn't be surprised if you told me this was a finished rye. Because it almost
I
has
look it
like
up and see and be like, oh.
like a mead or a sweet wine sort of a note to it on the nose.
Oh, yeah. I like the smell of it a lot.
Yeah, it's great.
Yeah.
These two are very different.
They are very different. I really didn't know what I was doing when I poured.
No, that's fine. Well, I like that.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
What are you picking up?
Like toasted bar nuts, mixed nuts, little peanut, slivered almonds.
It tastes like whiskey.
Like honey roasted peanuts, because you get that honey, that sweet honey in there with the nuttiness.
Mm-hmm.
Some honey roasted peanuts in that. Mm-hmm. That's pretty good.
Yeah.
Oak and cherry and butterscotch, or do I want, some fruity wine, mead, honey, nuts? I don't know. I have yet to have a bad pour today, though, which I kind of figured would happen. Obviously, people are sending in something that they think is going to beat, my favorite bottle. They're going to bring their A game. Yeah, it's tough, no doubt about it. And then neither of these choices so far have been easy, but I think I'm going to have to lean D for this one.
D? All right.
I'm going to pick D for this one. Like that mead, like those nuts.
Okay.
And again, if I eliminate yours, I apologize. None of these have been bad. It's tough. It's real tough.
All right. Now we have E and F.
E and F.
Oh, that's funny. Look at
the
this.
color on that one. F
I put
has
F
an F on it.
in an F glass. Look at that. That was not at all planned.
So that was Flaviar. Back when I first started my channel, they took a risk on me, and they sent me some free swag. They sent me actually both last winter and the winter before that. They sent me their whole advent calendar, which is really cool. You get to try all these whiskeys.
Yeah, that is cool.
They're real hit or miss. I'm not gonna lie and be like, oh yeah, all these whiskeys are bangers, but you get to taste everything across the world. I mean, India.
Okay. I didn't even know India made.
Yeah,
whiskey.
India single malts is like a growing category. Australian single malts, Japanese.
I would love to try Australian.
And some of them have actually been really good. There was one from Wales that was really interesting as well.
Okay.
Yeah,
interesting.
So it's kind of cool.
I wonder, do you get different flavor profiles based on where they're from?
Oh, absolutely. So your climate is a big factor.
Oh, interesting.
So the thing about Australia, for example, is you
lots of kangaroos.
Yeah, in the whiskey.
Tastes like
you can't keep them out of it. They're crazy.
Drunk kangaroos.
It's the worst
running
kind.
around
They're dangerous.
Australia.
Yeah,
really is wild over there.
Yeah. So, for example, the Australians are really taking after Scotland when it comes to what kind of grain are they using and what's their process look like.
Oh, interesting.
But the difference is Scotland is very mild and wet, so it takes a long time in that temperature for the whiskey to evaporate into the barrel and then recondense as liquid back into the barrel. So that's
Australia is hot and dry.
Australia is hot and dry. So while you might have a 16-year-old single malt Scotch, Australia's the whiskey's done in 2 years. Because if we let it go any longer, it's going to turn into syrup in the barrel, thick and gross. So they're here's our 2-year-old single malt. Yeah. But then price-wise, they still have to charge a fair amount for it because you think, well, they had, for example, let's say they had 50 gallons to start out with. Now they're down to 28 gallons. So they lost half of their product because it just evaporated into the air.
Oh, that's wild. So I never thought that was a thing.
Yeah, so they got to cover their losses.
So then maybe Scotland is we actually have more because of how wet it is.
That's right. Scotland's well, you think of the flip side, Scotland, they're all right, let's put it in the barrel. And then they're we can't make money off of that until my children can drive. And they were born yesterday. So you got to be very patient. All right, this is E. You got that hallmark mintiness for sure. It has a fair amount of oak on it, but it's not harsh oak or young oak. This smells like it's got a little bit of age underneath it. You're going to check your notes and be it's a 4-year-old. What an idiot. Yeah, some good brown sugary oak in there. I think of, you ever have those circus peanut candies?
Oh, they're awful. Oh.
They're not that bad.
Oh. I have family members who like them, but I think they're gross.
I think they're pretty good. This reminds me of that. Or really, sugary, chewy toffees. Like sugar babies and sugar daddies. Mm-hmm. Yeah, those toffee chews.
Let me try.
Reminds me of those.
Well, the first thing I notice is it's not burning off my nostrils when I
Well, you
smell
might
it.
be getting acclimated to it.
You gonna try it?
Yeah, I'm going to try this one.
Okay.
It's really viscous. Very oily. It's like coating everything in here.
Is that a good thing or a bad thing?
It depends on what you like. I like a really viscous, whiskey that
Sticks around.
sticks around. You get to taste it, and then you get to keep on tasting it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But if the whiskey sucks, you might want it to be less viscous. So it's just one and done. Man, this is, to me, it reminds me of Glass A.
Oh, okay.
In that it's very traditional rye notes, but it's big and it's bold. Like, it's bringing a lot of heat. It's bringing a lot of proof. I think it's bringing a lot of age, too, just on the palate alone.
I'm really tempted to, check my notes. And look.
Yeah.
I'm gonna fact check you. That's E?
This one's E, yes.
Okay. I mean, I will at least tell you it is over 4 years. Yes. You're right about that.
Yeah, I didn't think anyone was going to sandbag and be like, yeah, this is like a $20 bottle, 4-year-old rye. By the way, I should say, our next category is going to be finished bourbons. So I already announced what my bottle for that's going to be. It's actually going to be my favorite batch of the cigar blend from Joseph Magnus. And Nancy Fraley, the master blender, actually recently moved their operation up here to Holland.
Oh, okay, cool.
Yeah. So they recently made that transition, and now they're doing all their blending in Holland, Michigan. And she actually found our review, which was really cool because no information for that batch had been published yet, not even on their website.
Really? That's cool.
So, because I got it fresh off the truck.
Sure.
And since now we're local, I got it really quick.
That's cool.
So she actually came in and she commented on my review of it, our review on the channel, and shared all the information about what went into the blend, the ages, the mash bills, all that. So it was really cool to have that interaction. And she was like, we reviewed it very highly.
Yeah.
It's one of my favorites. And so obviously she was very grateful for the positive review,
cool.
which is neat. Okay, that's killer. I mean, that's had some time to mellow. And so it is bringing heat in the proof department. I'm getting some of those baking spices, like your nutmegs, your cinnamons, your clove. But it's not rude about it. It's not like punching me in the palate. This is, though, the fifth whiskey that I've tasted today, though. So it could just be that I'm getting acclimated to it. Well, I mean, ryes, obviously...
no matter how hard I try.
Ryes are not known for being, overly sweet, so you're stretching yourself right now.
I really am.
Yeah, by doing rye
I love
whiskeys.
all things fruity and sweet.
Man, a lot of you guys are submitting some, real banger traditional ryes. Even on the nose of this one. This is, I think of being in a ski lodge with pines, and I even think of, juniper berries, almost like you would get on a really good, I think of, botanist dry gin.
I just want to say I've only sipped a little bit. I'm already
Head's kind of spinning a bit.
I don't drink a lot.
We got to go make dinner after this.
I know. I don't drink a lot, but I'm oh gosh, I've only had a couple sips.
I didn't taste it yet.
It's warm.
How is it? It's warm.
You tasted it? Oh, I thought you tasted it.
I just noticed this one. I don't think I've tasted it yet.
It's warm. I don't know.
There's a ton of oak on it too. Come on.
Is that a good thing or a bad thing?
Yeah, that's
I'm noticing, you were talking about viscosity, and I'm noticing, if you can see, I don't know if you can, but is this one viscous too? Because look at
it's got these big, thick drips.
Look at the way that it's clinging to the glass. That's really interesting.
Good eye, babe.
Oh, thanks.
Yeah, that's freaking delicious. That reminds me of the top of a creme brulee. The burnt.
Feeling this right.
It's those burnt caramelized sugars, you know, you get the top.
Okay.
And it's burnt, but not in a bad way. You're I kind of dig that.
That tasty burn. Yes. You like that one.
I mean, I like them both, but I think I'm leaning F on this one.
Okay. Why don't you retaste E just to make sure? Cleanse
We'll
your
verify.
palate. Cleanse your palate. Cleanse it. Oh my gosh.
Our kids watch Gravity Falls. And there's this episode with a boy band, and they're so dumb they don't know how to drink properly.
Well, because they're clones, aren't they? They're
I don't know why, but we just think it's really funny.
It's very funny.
That's a good year.
2024.
2024.
It's a good year.
Great city water right there. E tastes to me like if F had more manners. If F was a little more polite.
Yeah.
Yeah, and a little more approachable. If you like big and bold, you'd go F. Okay. But if you like a rye that has some manners, a little more mellowed out, more sweet,
Okay.
then E would be your pick. For today, though, F is my pick. El Final. I ran out of Glens. So one of them is my Peugeot glass. Actually, it's funny because anytime I do a video drinking out of my Peugeot glass, I always get comments from people like, whoa, 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 what the heck is that glass that you're drinking out of?
That's GH.
Because it's this one. They call it the donut glass because it's got the bulb in the middle there.
Is it what? How does it help? I assume it helps some way.
I looked it up one time and it sounded made up, but but I just like the shape of it. I just think it looks really classy. And it does have the general shape that you want out of a Glencairn, where the point is that you have a bulbous bottom, like me. Big old dumpy, big bulbous bottom.
I wasn't going to say it, but...
But then a narrower neck where it funnels all those. It collects all the odors and funnels them up.
Okay.
So it's the same idea as a Glencairn.
Sure.
Dude, Nutter Bar.
Nutter Bar? Like nutty buddy?
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh my gosh, there's so much peanut butter on that. That's like peanut butter overload. Like those like a no-bake cookie.
I'm amazed you can pull that out. Like I'm just like, oh yeah, it smells sweet.
The first thing I get hit with is like a no-bake cookie. Chocolate and peanut butter. Like a Reese's.
It'll be interesting to see if you pull those tasting notes when you taste it.
Well, let's see. Yes. This is weird, though, because I'm going to say peanut butter and jelly sandwich. It's got this great fruity jamminess to it.
Interesting.
Along with the...
along
with the peanut butter, for sure.
Sorry you're watching me taste these things.
There's a real jammy grape fruitiness. I like it. But it's different.
Yeah.
It's real fruity.
It does taste different than what we've tasted before.
You can tell me that was a finished rye, and I'd believe you. Because it feels like there's some flavor being imparted by a secondary barrel there that once had something fruit-related in it.
Interesting.
That's peculiar. H. Tipsy Elden Ring afterwards. I told him I was recording. Thrice in our Discord. I told the guys I was recording this right now. He was like, you're going to drink 8 of these? Why don't you stream some Elden Ring Tipsy afterwards? I'm almost tempted to do it. If I didn't, have to clock out, hang out with our little gremlins. As far as kids go, ours are not bad.
They're pretty great.
They're pretty all right. I got it. This one's like bringing me back down to earth. Like this one was like a whole new world. And
you put it in like a UFO shaped
I did.
cup,
I put it in the most unique glass,
and now it's out of this world.
Yeah, I don't know who sent that or what it is, but kudos for sending in something that is unlike anything we've tasted today. I will give credit there. This one is bringing us back down to earth a bit. It's like, okay, we're back in the realm of rye whiskeys here. We're back to more traditional notes for sure. In that, like, mellowed out yellow fruit. I think there's even, like, a citrus note to this. I think of, like, an orange peel and bitters. Like, Angostura bitters.
Isn't that like an old-fashioned?
Well, yeah. I mean, you use Angostura bitters in an old-fashioned.
And
usually rye whiskey.
And an orange peel.
Yeah. Well, and the way that I prefer to make my...
I get 10 points for knowing that.
Yeah, the way I prefer to make my old fashions is with a little, like a dash of orange bitters in there with the Angostura bitters, and then I do like to have like an orange peel garnish on top. This gives me like the rind of an orange, and I definitely get sort of that Angostura bitters notes as well. Some of your clove, your deep dark rich, a little bit of a leathery vibe to it as well.
This whole video is just going to be me struggling to be like you.
I'll do a ton of zoom ins on her face. I'll do like,
no. I'm trying my best. Because when I open the bottles to pour them, I do smell them all.
Yeah.
And being in the tiny bottles, I don't know, they're easier to take a whiff of, I guess.
Yeah.
And it's not.
Because it's not a Glencairn. It's like focusing it all,
Is it weird? Not the drink is weird. It's weird to like breathe this way. I don't know.
Whoever sent it in is like crying, and she's like, "It's weird."
It's not the.
That's my glass.
It's not the drink. It's weird. It's the whole smelling through my mouth. Smelling through my mouth. That's what I'm supposed to be doing.
Well, I mean, sometimes, yeah. If you shove your schnoz all in there, you can take a deep breath through your mouth, and it pulls it up through your nose and kind of rotates it all through your olfactories. Helps you kind of get underneath the ethanol. I'm gonna taste it. JD single barrel proof rye.
I want to look it up. You feel that confident that you know what that is? That I'm kind of amazed right now that if you feel that confidence of knowing exactly what it is.
If it's not it's something very similar.
How would you know Like you've drank it enough to know?
Jack Daniel's shot to the top of my list of favorite distilleries pretty quickly within the last
Which is crazy
year and a half.
when I think of Jack Daniels, I think of that being like a bottom shelf.
Cheap, JD number 7.
Right,
Stuff
exactly.
your grandpappy drank.
Yeah.
Yeah. But some of my favorite bottles on my shelf right now are the JD 12,
Okay.
the twice barreled rye.
Well, I'm not going to tell you whether you're wrong or right. I'm just amazed in your confidence that you think you can pick out exactly what that is.
Mm-hmm. Either way, this has a lot of proof. Mm-hmm. It does bring the heat. I mean, it's not bashful about that. This is a very assertive sip.
Well, it's actually a rum, so you were wrong.
Right. Mm-hmm. So it brings a lot of that spice, a lot of that clove, but I'm also getting like root beer.
Oh, interesting. Can I try this?
Sarsaparilla, those like your root spices like ginger. I'm telling you, this one might be the hottest so far.
Yeah.
But it's really good. It's really good.
Oh,
Tons of oak too.
You gotta narrow it down between the two. You gonna go with
I'm gonna revisit G.
Out of This World?
Yeah, the one that's really unique. I'm gonna revisit the peanut butter and jelly
Do you
rye.
need to cleanse your palate first?
I mean, probably because this one's clinging for sure.
Yeah, look at that.
It's hanging on in here.
See if you can see.
I got this glass for Christmas last year, actually.
I remember.
I put it on my Christmas list. I can't remember if it was your folks or my folks that got it for me.
I don't know.
I don't remember.
I feel like it was my mom.
I think it was your mom that got it for me. It really is like even just going back to the nose is like peanut butter and jelly, baby. It's so unique in that regard. Like I gotta give kudos for whoever sent this in. This is super unique. But to go up against my Old Overholt, which is delivering on everything that I think a rye should be, like for your traditional ryes. Because the Old Overholt name, it goes back to Abraham Overholt was his name. Guy started this distillery.
Is it this guy right there in the picture?
That's him, yeah.
He's so grumpy looking.
He does look very grumpy.
Was this picture taken before he started?
That man is
Was
pissed.
it taken before he started drinking whiskey?
Yeah,
angry.
He ended up a lot happier after that. But
should have used a smiling picture.
Yeah. So it was originally a Pennsylvania distillery.
Okay.
And Pennsylvania is where like rye whiskey really took off in America because a lot of the immigrants, they were used to having barley-based whiskeys because they came from the United Kingdom area, right? Scotland, Ireland, and Britain. But anyways, they found that barley just did not grow in the rocky Pennsylvania soil, but rye was sort of this young grain, and it would grow anywhere. I mean, it was just like rye pops up in fields all the time that aren't even rye fields, and farmers call them volunteers because they just shell up.
Oh,
right?
interesting.
They'll grow anywhere.
Yeah.
So they were like, well, we can grow rye really easily. Let's just distill it. And rye whiskey sort of took off. Well, the Overholt brand died off. I think it was like, especially during like wartime and Prohibition, when a lot of places got shut down. Prohibition, they got shut down. Legally, they had to be. And then, obviously, during war times, so like World War I, World War II, the government actually said, no, we absolutely need distilled products for the war. Like fuels for certain vehicles. Distilled products are used in like making tires for like tanks and stuff like that. So the government actually came into a lot of distilleries and shut them down. Said, you can't make whiskey. We need you to run your stills to make products for them to fund the war efforts.
Interesting.
And a lot of distilleries did not survive.
Okay.
The Overholt brand then died, but I don't know who held on to the brand, like the royalties for the brand itself. But Jim Beam actually came in 1987, I think it was, the year before we were born, and they said, we really like what Abraham was doing. We'd like to continue it and put our own spin on it. So they actually bought the rights to the brand name.
Oh, okay.
And this
is a Jim Beam product?
This is a Jim Beam product now.
Interesting.
Yeah.
How would you know that looking at the bottle? Do they show you like, hey, we're owned by...
Well, usually, it has to disclose where it was distilled. So
gotcha.
It's distilled and bottled by James Beam Distilling Company in Claremont, Kentucky.
Cool.
Little story about Old Overholt. Getting sidetracked. I'm going with H.
Okay.
Going with H. The JD Single Barrel Proof. I don't know if that's what it is. But if it's not...
He's so confident.
It's a lot like it. There we go. So, H goes on.
Okay.
So,
A, D, F, and H.
A, D, F, H. A, D, F, and H will then go toe-to-toe with the Old Overholt when I'm sober enough to do it again. Won't be today.
Or me.
You know what? Let's just do it right now. We'll do it live.
Kids can make their own dinner.
Yeah, that's right. They'll be fine.
This is fun. So, yeah, this is going to be an interesting pair up.
No doubt.
Ones you've chosen.
Thank you so much, everybody who submitted a sample so that we can make this video. This is really fun for us.
Yeah.
And I really do appreciate your generosity. I mean, quite honestly, you know, I've started saying in the end of a lot of our videos, like, Dramguard is not me. Dramguard is our community. Because, quite frankly, I could not make as much content as I do if it wasn't for the people in our community who are constantly sending in samples. I mean, a lot of the stuff that I get to review is stuff that's not on my shelf because you can't, well, I can't own every whiskey. I just can't do it.
Nope.
It's a lot of hunting.
Your wife won't let you.
It's a lot of hunting. It's a lot of money. But we collectively, as a group, basically are sharing what's on our shelves to make this channel happen. And for that, I'm eternally grateful to you guys. And if you're new around the channel, hey, kick your shoes off, stay a while. We'd like to see you pop over in our Discord, introduce yourself. We got new people popping in there basically every day at this point, which is really fun. We got, I think we're over 200 people now in that Discord, which is really cool. Just talking about all kinds of stuff.
Yeah.
I mean, whatever. Whiskey. Today it was a lot of soccer talk. And I don't know jack crap about soccer.
Nope,
other than what Ted Lasso taught me. And that's it. I'm like, that's a pitch.
Football is life.
Green stuff is pitch.
Football is life.
Football is life. Anyways, yeah. Come say hi. We'd love to meet you. So, cheers, my friends. You want to cheers?
Oh, yeah.
With the peanut butter and jelly?
Yeah.
May you live richly.
And get better with age.
Boom, she knows it. So proud of you. And we hope to catch you in the next one.
Bye.
Bye-bye.